Hello, everyone, and welcome to a live edition of Trendy with Kim Allison. This will be the very first one we do, so wish us luck. I have with me today, you guys, somebody very special, and I know I say that about all of my guests, but this one I would put an extra in front of it. She is extra special because she's been a client of mine since she was wee high, and now she's a full-on grown whole ass woman. I love it. Alrighty, and she is here. So Shannon, without further ado, you can, this is a little bit outside of the realm of actually being a licensed professional hairstylist, but she is going to share with us based on her level of expertise as a
So I guess by trade, I'm a physical therapist. I'll give a little bit about my background. So yes, I've known Kim forever. I have my doctorate in physical therapy. I work a lot with lots of different patients. I have a big background in dance medicine. I work with a lot of hairstylists. So we've chatted a lot about tips and tricks and things. And like, oh, hey, Kim, does your elbow hurt? She's like, how did you know? I'm like, does the same shoulder hurt? And she's like, oh my gosh.
So true.
So yeah, my background is in physical therapy, but I'm also a nationally qualified bikini competitor. So today we're going to talk about, yes, some things with posture and ergonomics, but also things that I've learned through being a healthcare provider as well as a bikini competitor, between boundaries, burnout, talking about a better lifestyle balance. You know, one thing we do share in common is we are in the people industry. So that involves trying to take care of ourselves while we take care of others. So lots to chat about today.
I love that. This is going to be a fun episode and so important to us all, right? Because my audience, again, is for anyone who is maybe needing a little inspiration in your hairdressing career or beauty professional, because I have all guests in the beauty industry on the show, and mainly to teach the next generation, who are my babies, I refer to as my newbies, just so that you can get off, just like I would with my kids, right? We want to instill in them everything we know so that they can be that much stronger in their lives. So today I think it's important that we know how to stand, so that our bones, our bodies, that we take for granted. I know I did. For the first 20 years, I wore high heels to work.
You mean like these, Kim?
Yeah, like those. But higher.
On one hip.
But
like,
higher. I know, right? And I have on my chucks. But now, because thank God, the trend has changed for us hairdressers. Thank God we are no longer having to wear heels and wedges, stilettos. It was ridiculous. I can't even believe I did that. So hopefully I haven't destroyed my knees, my back. But this is all for you guys. So without further ado, I have a mannequin here in my studio, and I left her hair like enough of a mess that I can do what I do behind the chair as Shannon corrects my posture. So this is all about ergonomics.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
Yeah, all of the things. I love it.
All right, and don't come for my shears, because these are my mannequin shears, and I wouldn't dare ever, and I'm talking not if I'm doing a real haircut, but a play haircut. I wouldn't dare use my babies over there. So let me get my comb, which I don't know what I did with, but
I think
it is somewhere in here.
I remember it running away.
And this is my life. So go ahead.
Well, I will say too, you mentioned the chucks. Fun fact, I would prefer those over me. It's like the old do as I say, or what is it?
Do as I say, not as
I do. There we go.
Yeah.
So yeah, for one, oftentimes people ask me about shoes. I think obviously hairstylists, I feel like everyone is trendy. People in the service beauty industry are also trendy. But at least with that, it's a level shoe. It's not an angle like mine. So
you want a level shoe, like not even a tiny wedge, not even a booty, and level shoe.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't mean you have to never wear them, but if you're trying to be more mindful, did you find it?
I'm going to plug this in.
Oh, yeah.
So
yep.
Stand by.
I got you. Yep. Behind the scenes, everybody.
Yes. We need air in here, you guys.
Yes.
It is giving hot.
But yeah, I would say it doesn't mean you can't ever wear fun shoes, but if you're trying to be mindful, you can think of things while we're on the topic of shoes, like level.
Can you see my shoes, everybody?
Yes.
You can.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's have a moment for these
Yes.
semi-ergonomic shoes.
Okay. Semi, because they do have a little platform.
Right.
Okay.
You could, if you're like me, you're like, I just want to wear my booties today. You could always get some toe spacers, and on your lunch break or between breaks, give your toes a break with the spacers. They're on Amazon. No brand is superior. So you can still do things.
Is that the actual name, toe spacer? Like they use for pedicures?
Kinda, yeah, but it's
those are wildly uncomfortable.
Yeah, not those. It's meant to be like a little, just like a little separation or like decompression. Okay. You know, like someone pulls on your legs and it's like, but for your toes.
Okay. So and how do you feel about, what are they called? Compression socks or garments?
I think that's definitely valuable.
Guys, I try to have a little swag. I can't have them all the way to the ground. I'm already short.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought you were going for the one leg.
Oh, don't take me there, because we are 90s inspired this fall.
Yes.
With hair, with fashion.
Oh, I know.
Hair mimics fashion. I have episodes coming up about hair and fashion trends. So anyway,
stay tuned.
Back to you.
Yeah. But no, I would say compression I'm a big fan of. Obviously, I'm going to say this just because I'm a medical provider doesn't mean you don't want to talk to your provider, because there are different things to take into consideration when getting compression stockings. Like you always want the lowest grade if you're starting with it. And just like that saying, walk before you run. Don't all of a sudden do an entire week, an entire shift. Maybe try them out for like a shorter day, see how your body responds if you're going to try them, but it can be helpful.
Okay. I love that. Anything else for you on attire and apparel, shoes? All right. So we walk into the salon.
Okay.
We walk in, all of us looking like bag ladies. We literally have the purse hanging over the shoulder. And if we're carrying, I now have a wheel bag, and I should actually bring her in.
Yeah.
Because she is a very good idea, you guys.
Does she have a name?
She does not have a name yet, but let's call her Savior.
Okay.
So we'll call her Savior. But this now, I used to carry a bag over my shoulders, just full of everything. And then my purse on top of that, just lugging it all, right? So now I use this bag. Okay. So it is the perfect bag. And it's on wheels. It has 4 wheels, so everything's steady, and I can pile everything on top of it.
Yeah, you should link your favorite bag for the listeners.
I should. Yeah, absolutely. So there we go.
Yeah,
there's her.
I love that you said that, because especially a lot of people, again, in the service industry, I get a lot of wrist, elbow, shoulder pain, and I'll say, do you carry a lot of things on one side? And they go, yeah. I said, is that the painful side? Or do you have neck pain on that side or back pain on that side? And they're like, maybe. So that's great to keep in mind. Either an ergonomic bag or even between sides is definitely a valuable point too, if you don't want to buy something new today.
Okay, I like that. And while I'm on that point, because I'm old and I forget everything.
Oh my gosh, no, you're not.
I wanted to also point out, because sometimes you have clients, this is related to hair, who they have that one side that's just thinning or always broken, damaged. And if they have anywhere like between collarbone, anywhere in that shoulder area length, mindfulness is so important, because we put our bag right on our hair and wonder why it's wearing out right there. And when you can't figure it out, it's happened to me so many times where you're like, I don't get it. Why is this side so weak? I have found in my 29 years, you guys, you would be surprised how many clients that I've asked. I say, you know what, just be mindful of your bag. Don't carry your bag, because you won't remember your hair when you're on the go, right? So don't carry your bag over your shoulder, and we'll give it, I always say 90 days, just like a relationship. We need 90 days to test any theory.
Yeah.
Hair comes back full 100% of the time when it doesn't mean anything else. But when it's just on one side.
That's a really good point. I feel like people appreciate that tip.
Yeah. Alrighty. So if I walk in, I got all my stuff now, right? We took all the stuff off. We rolled it in now that we've watched this episode. So now we've wheeled it in, put it away, and here we are. Here's our client. And I can't make her any taller, you guys, because
I already saw something.
You did? Yeah. Oh my God. I love it.
To brush, I was like, oh.
I love it. I love it. Thank God you're here.
Yeah.
Dr. Shannon.
Oh my gosh.
I love it. So
sorry, keep going.
No, go for it.
You called it out exactly with the height there, though.
Bring her up. Yeah, so in the real world, if she's not on the stand, which I can't make any taller, I don't think. Let me see. Because sometimes you have people that are actually, oh, you know what? She can come taller. I think her little button is here.
There we go. Oh.
Yay. So if she were real in real life, I would probably have her here, cutting here.
That's where you'd want it.
But sometimes you have, right, you guys, you have stylists who are, because here's the problem I run into being 5'1", I'm never tall enough, right? So the chair can never get low enough for me if I have a client who's more than 5'7", and especially those that have a really long upper torso, right? Upper torso. I guess there's only one torso. But anyway, so I end up like this, right? And so there are people who are too tall, though. They're so tall that they end up like this, like all the time. So what do you recommend? So here we are. I have gotten her now to the right height.
Okay. Well, first, while we're on that topic, can I demonstrate for them some common movements?
1,000%.
So
would you like my sharp tool as well?
Can you trust me with the sharp tool?
I don't know. Can I trust you? Don't sue me.
I'm gonna do my best.
Don't sue me. See? Okay, go for it.
Okay, so what I saw Kim do at first when it was too short, so in case you are complaining of foot, knee, hip, back, upper back, shoulder pain, neck pain, right? And I'm going to exaggerate because it wasn't nearly as extreme as this, but here's what I saw.
Uh-oh.
Right? Oh. So for the angle, let me talk you through top to bottom what I'm doing.
Okay.
My foot is kind of driving in, so that's a lot of stress on my ankle and my knee because I'm kind of going in. I'm extending at my hip. So for someone that, say if they have weaker glutes, they like to hang on what's called their Y ligaments here. And if you can see my exaggerated frame, you can see why maybe I have low back pain, hip pain, right? Or even like upper back, I'm kind of doing this like cute little shoulder lean.
I've been doing it for a long time too.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
And even if it is just for a moment, because sometimes people will say, oh, I just do it like to look and then I get out of that. But how many clients do you have in a year? How many times are you doing that a year, right? So just think, okay, am I in a posture where I feel even between both of my feet? My knees are relaxed. They're not locked out or hanging for stability. I'm not hanging on one hip, right? I'm not having to look down. I'm not having to shrug my shoulders like you said. So where does it feel like I can take a breath and I can just use my arms right at waist height here, and I'm not having to strain my shoulders. I'm not having to do any leaning, right? I can step back or I can step forward. So just think, watch how I'm like looking.
Yeah.
You would not want me as your hairdresser.
Like, you're like, give me these, because that's what I saw as you were demonstrating. I'm like, oh yeah, I see all kinds of red flags.
Oh
run. Anyway.
Yeah.
So I love that. Okay. So, right. If I can, it's going to take a long time to untrain myself. Old dog, new trick, right? So you said just kind of like we do in yoga, just, would you say using your heels is handy?
I would say think even distribution between both of your feet. And
gotcha.
I like that you said yoga, because I'll tell my patients to do, and like my training clients, I'll tell them to do a full body scan. So, make sure that your butt isn't clenched, your pelvic floor isn't clenched, you're not tensing in your shoulders, your breathing feels smooth, it's not quick and shallow. Because as a busy day, sometimes we're like, okay, I got to get this client. All right. And then we're holding that tension all day.
Yeah.
And other symptoms that might seem unrelated, like, again, I'm assuming this is a safe space, but even like pain with sex, because we're clenching our pelvic floors all day.
Yeah.
We're living that high stress environment. Maybe we're not getting enough water and nutrition throughout the day. So all of our inflammatory factors are
Which reminds me, let me take a sip.
Yeah.
Go for it.
So just literally doing this one habit before every single client can change your whole nervous system for the day. Just a quick body scan. You can even turn it into a cute little thing with your client. Say, okay, this is self-care time. We're both going to take a breath. We're going to shake it out. And then that's a good way to set the tone, right?
Yeah, because you're right. Because clients come in so uptight sometimes. So, and you guys, I'm going to be honest. I put some new hair in today. These are clip-ons and they are like bunching up. So when you see my profile, don't come for me.
Oh my gosh.
It's a process. Okay. I'm in a season. Alrighty. So I am now. Wusa. Hello. Welcome. Welcome to Apricot Lounge, to my client. Let's just take a breath. I'm going to do everything you instruct us to do and see how I feel in it. Both stability in both legs. I don't feel I'm favoring one side or the other. I feel comfortable.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah. I love that.
What's next?
Okay. All right. So she's saying, what do you think about my hair? You're going to do a little inspection about what you're working with.
Yes. And so that's when we start contorting.
Uh-huh.
So what I do is if in my everyday life before you got here, if you weren't watching, I would go, I'd probably do one of these. She's like, I want a bob. I want a bespoke look for the fall, a bespoke bob. I want lots of texture. And what I'm seeing, she's like, she brought in some Pinterest. It's really sharp, like right here. And then I have one layer. It has one layer. I'm like, no, there's no one layer. But anywho.
Oh my gosh.
So I would come here and do this.
Perfect.
I would assess, okay, jawline, I'd say, okay, mid, we're coming here. I would map it out, okay? And I usually put a clip or something so I know. Yeah. That's what I would do. So those are all the range of motion.
I think you did a great job of using your body, because I'm sure people are listening, they're like, Shannon, I've got to get low sometimes to get in there and look, assess the situation. So obviously, we live dynamic lives. We're not going to be like this all the time.
Yeah, for sure.
But being mindful of being even, like you used your body, you sat your butt back. You didn't just bend forward at the knees, right? And get down like that. You weren't just cocking to one side. You tried to get level and even, which even throughout the day, just trying to be more mindful of that. We're not perfect, but doing the best you can throughout your day is going to add up to a lot of little moments.
For sure. I love that. Okay, so I would do next. I would probably roll. You guys, if you don't have some type of chair, like a saddle chair or something, please consider doing that, because it saves you time. I see girls in the back, though. They're much younger than me. They are foiling hair sitting down. I find that impressive.
Yeah.
Foiling hair while seated. I have not even begun to even explore that. Alrighty, so if I were here, like I said, I would map her out. I would come here. I'm just going to breeze through this, not how I would actually do this, but because I definitely wouldn't saw into anybody's haircut, but just to get it going. All right, so then I'd come here. And I don't know if guests can see that. You could probably see it on that side.
While you're cutting, can I mention something for the seated girlies out there?
You do, please.
So things to keep in mind, posture setup wise with their chair. You want to think of a 90-90 theory. A lot of us shorties, we tend to sit on the edge of the seat, and a lot of them will
like I'm doing
a little, but it's not bad. It's not bad at all. You'll think of, like, I'm thinking of, that's a nice contoured seat, right?
Yep.
I'm thinking of the flat seat, right? And a lot of us that are shorter, maybe the chair isn't adjustable. We find ourselves on the edge.
Yep.
We have more of that tilt going. Those,
I'll put you in front.
Oh yeah, sure. They have more of that like tilt going here.
Yep.
So then they might come to me later and say, man, I've got this, like, they'll usually say whatever syndrome Google told them, like, right, like sciatic nerve, or I've got piriformis syndrome. But sometimes sitting
What was that syndrome?
Piriformis syndrome.
Piriforma? Never heard of that.
Oh, it's a muscle. Yeah, Google will tell you all about it.
Oh, okay, got it. I love Dr. Google.
But oftentimes little things, again, from like how we're sitting with evenness. So just think of like the 90-90 rule. If I'm sitting, in theory, in a perfect world, my chair, I can relax where my ankles and my shins are at 90, my knee and my knee and thigh, I swear I went to school, are at 90 degrees, and my thigh and my trunk are at 90 degrees.
So, like this.
Yeah, you just want to feel like it's
like
a comfortable, supported position. Exactly.
In a perfect world.
In a perfect world, right? And you can do things like adding a little layer to your chair if you need, or putting a little stool under your feet if you can't quite get that. But just be mindful of that. And if you do sit often throughout the day, setting timers for standing breaks, because a lot of them might have hip or back pain from sitting a lot. So just,
And your watch tells you that now.
yeah, screams at me.
Yeah. Now, the next thing I would do is, and how important, Shannon, do you feel that it is to make your client twist and turn?
Yeah.
Cock their heads to the side.
Yeah, I think,
etc.
So I love that you said that, even the phrasing, make our clients, right? Because a lot of people in the service industry, you care about the person in front of you. So some of us feel awkward or maybe reluctant to ask for something that benefits us, if at the base of that emotion there.
Yeah.
But really, as a healthcare provider too, say if I need to go to the bathroom or water or need to change the patient's position, or client's position, I'll say, I'm actually going to turn you this way just so I can access this better. Or, hey, you know what, if you don't mind, go ahead, have you look this way. Or if you got the person says, I can't, I have a bad neck, I'm going to turn you this way then.
Okay.
Or if you need a bathroom break, say, hey, I'm going to go to the bathroom really quick. Do you need a bathroom break? I need water. Would you like some water? Because you're a human too. You're not just the worker in front of them. So verbalizing
it's hard sometimes to get them to remember that.
Yes.
I'm not your servant. You're here for a service.
Mm-hmm.
Very different.
Yep. And I think, the delivery of that is so much too. Mm-hmm. If you say it in a polite but delineating way, you're not asking, you're just saying, hey, and you just add your own personality to it.
Yep.
Do it with patients all the time.
Exactly. And that's a good practice, because you can't be combative with your clients. You just cannot be. They need you, but you also need them. Remember that.
Look at this patient. She's tripping.
Yeah. And see, this must be one that I don't like. Just kidding. That was a Freudian slip. Okay, so I'm going to this is how I would do this. How's my posture? Not good.
Me.
Not good.
You knew it. You knew the
answer. I'm like, I feel
it's a hard habit to break.
I feel like, so tell me, how do I correct that?
Yeah, so that was
what would be the proper way?
That was a height issue for you again. And it was that leaning part, but also a little bit of your shoulder, right? So that would be a height thing. So maybe if you're on max height, maybe you're a taller person, this might be a good place to bring the chair in. Say, hey, and I communicate that a lot. Say, hey, I'm going to grab this chair to get this angle. Keep telling me about the story that you're telling about. So just letting them know what you're doing mid-conversation. That way you still do what you got to do.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. And so if we know what I would do, because I'm short. So if you're taller, that's when I would go to the chair. Shorter, I could just bring the chair up level.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Okay. And do what I do.
Yep.
Okay. So I guess we end up in a rush a lot of the time. So that's why all the contorting starts, because you're like, well, I'm tired of pumping my chair up and pushing it down. So we just kind of do it real quick. Yeah. But that could be the difference of 5 years of your career, because if you do that for an extended amount of time, I would imagine you're going to wear faster than someone who's actually being more mindful of planning and balancing.
And say if and that's a good example too, if you're busy, then just think of that evenness in your quality of movement, right?
So how is this? What if you...
Yeah, so I think that's fine.
Is that fine?
Especially if it feels fine for you, because each person's different. Like if someone has knee pain, I might tell them, you want to think bowing for an encore and bracing belly button inward to support your back, versus maybe if someone does have knee pain and they're bending with their trunk upright, that's less glute and more quad, and that can cause more strain on your knees.
Okay. Right? And do that one more time, because I feel like I was in front of you.
Oh, no, you're good. So say I'm taller right now because of my heels, but say I need to get here. Just think about like that evenness of movement here. And if I'm sitting back with my butt more, it's going to be more of a glute dominant task, like I'm bowing for an encore or like sitting towards a low chair, versus some people when they say, hey, Shannon, you're a bikini competitor, you're a doctor, am I squatting right? I have knee pain, I don't know why. Well, if we're doing this without thinking about it frequently, right? So just think about how you're sitting, because here I'm just getting my squats in, trying to build a shelf. But like if I'm doing knee heavy, right? So just keep that in mind. If you are in a bind, if you are busier and you can't drag the chair back and forth, or if you're someone that you do realize or you catch on that you have to lift the chair a lot, I don't know if for each person's chair, if they can find something online, like a pad to add to the chair. So before your client sits in there, say, hey, just going to put this down for you. And then preemptively throughout your day, you might have to do this a lot less, right?
Yeah, I actually received that. I'm going to find that tool and put it in the link.
Perfect. Yeah, there you go. Then
that's a good idea.
You're less
I can't
likely
believe I've not done that. I only do it for little kids, but
yeah,
heights are heights.
Right. Less work for you during the day, less times that you have to tell the patient up, down, up, down. Okay. Client, same thing.
Patient, client, same.
Yeah.
Yep, I love it. All right, so I'm going to, because it's going to be hard for me not to finish this haircut.
Yep.
Because I have a feeling they're going to want me to.
Do what you got to do.
But finish.
Yeah.
So if I'm flat ironing, I'm going to try to do what you've asked that I do.
You want to think butt more.
But not this way. I just did the opposite.
That's okay.
So I want to do, I see. I saw a little Instagram like that where he was correcting the guy working out's posture. He kept doing this.
Yeah.
So have you seen that one?
I have, yeah.
That is hilarious.
That.
So let's do this little exercise. I'll finish this side real quick. And then, or since this is the side facing the camera, you correct me as I'm I need correction. Does that make sense?
Yep, makes perfect sense.
And you guys, I am going to also enlist your help with what in the world is going on. What do you do with your cords? I want to know. Can you please text screen or take a picture, upload it in the comments, just DM me, whatever. But I want to know how you manage the whole cord war that I have not won.
Yeah.
In this entire time I've been doing hair. It just looks a mess.
So I got a tip for you.
Yes.
So a lot of patients will come to me or clients will say, this is how I'm sitting my butt back.
Okay.
A lot of us, because our backs feel important, right? The idea of back pain or putting our back in a vulnerable position seems scary.
Yes.
Just like any other body part, we are resilient. We just have to use the areas correctly. So that being said, oftentimes when I say sit your butt back, a lot of people, they'll do one of these numbers where they're kind of like rounding their back.
Oh, that's what I did.
Don't be afraid to let it arch a little bit, you know, just think.
Well, if I'm going to get some glutes out of this, I'm going to pay attention because I love a good gym.
Yeah. And you know, this can be a great time to think about some of those TA draw-ins. I'm really picky. So if someone wants my feedback, they can message me and, you know, because I do a whole lot of programming and things like that. But I'll tell people to brace as they're sitting back versus a lot of people, they'll, right? So don't be afraid of that. A lot of us are afraid of extension, right? We think like, ooh, I haven't done that in years. It's going to bother my back.
Yep. Okay. I love it.
Yep.
So, and that is really, it's not easy to reprogram. I'm finding. I thought, oh yeah, I work out. I could squat. Like I could get into a squat stance, but it's not my, salon life has no muscle memory of using that motion to do hair. So I'm going to have to really be mindful. And again, it's all about being mindful.
Yes, it is.
Okay. So, that feels so much better on my back.
You do a great job of keeping your shoulders relaxed too when you're combing through.
Oh, good.
I've seen before some people, they really hike up that shoulder when they're combing. But you do a great job staying tall and relaxed there.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so so flat ironing, we cut her, we greeted her, and we're gonna blow dry next.
Okay.
Because I'm sure that is where the real posture nightmare begins.
Oh, I can imagine.
Oh my God, you talk about, I know that to your point, because you work out, when you're doing tricep exercises, people always want to, you know, the shoulders are in there.
Or shoulder presses.
Or shoulder presses, yeah.
A lot of people tell me about, I can't do this because I have shoulder pain. I say, show me how you're doing it, and I'll tell you why you have shoulder pain. And then let's fix it.
Yep. I love that.
Nice.
God, I'm already getting the hang of it. Oh my God, I'm so jealous of you guys because you're just starting your careers, or even those that are in the middle, you know, and not at the end like me, is you get to start knowing how to do it, and that, or how to position yourself properly, learning how to stand. And that's so important. And if I had known this early on, oh my gosh, because I don't have the worst of the back pain, but I know people that do.
Yeah.
And it is not fun at all. Let me move this.
One thing I'll notice some hairdressers do, not you, but, and you don't think about it until you're in the moment and you go, oh shoot, that is me. Think about
I'm gonna turn her,
sure,
because I forgot she was on a stand. And
yes,
if anybody wants to see the rest of this,
absolutely,
you
right?
absolutely can.
Yeah, when you're watching an aesthetic video, you can't not show the finished product.
You can't.
It's illegal.
It's true. So I'm gonna probably capture her on that camera.
Yeah.
Can you look in there and see?
Yeah.
Can you see me cutting or no? You
Your
can. You can see
to get out of frame, but
okay.
So if you want, you can scooch her to the right a little bit, or towards the curtain and to the right a bit, right there. Yep.
Better?
Yeah. So yeah, and obviously it's going to be a balance based on each person and their height, and what feels comfortable is always the most important. I think if there's ever anybody that says this is the way you have to do it, that's a red flag. Because for some people with their height and their mechanics and their medical history, it might not fit for them to stand the exact same way. But one thing I do see a lot of people do also is standing really far. This is where I'm saying, when you're cutting someone's hair, or, you know, just in your usual work environment, pay attention to how far you are, whether you're at the table and mixing, and how far you are with cutting, because you want to think as close, as comfortable, and as manageable as you can, if that makes sense. Because some people, they might go try the squat thing and they're like, why do I feel so far? This doesn't feel comfortable. Like you said, this feels comfortable, so I wouldn't change anything. But some people, if they notice that, think about how far you are.
Because they are trying to push themselves back.
Right, yep.
And they're back.
Or even how far they are cutting, right?
True.
If they tell me their shoulders hurt all day and then I see a picture of them and they're this far, I wonder why they hurt. I wonder why you have headaches.
Exactly. So true. So true. So what else would you say? What else do you find as far as what other type of questions are you getting from, and do you have a lot of hairdressers that you work with?
I do. I would say a lot of hairdressers will ask me, what do you think about an elbow brace? You know, I've got elbow pain, I've got shoulder pain. What do you think about a brace? Should I do that? I think one rule of thumb, again, I'm not a big absolutes person, but if you want a little bit more support and you're actively doing things to try and rehab the area or fix the habits that are causing the pain, because I'll tell you right now, you don't have elbow pain because you have a bad elbow. You don't have shoulder pain because you have a bad shoulder.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, I hear a lot of negative self-talk about people and their bodies. So people say, oh, I can't do that, I have a bad back, or runs in my family, I've got a bad back, or oh, I was blessed with this bad shoulder. No, I think most of the time, again, not absolutes, but a lot of the times there are things we can control during the day to help reduce the stressors off of our painful areas.
Okay.
And it's likely those everyday things we do hundreds of times throughout the year that end up ticking up and causing the shoulder pain. It's like, you ever had a stressful job that you handle things every day, handle things. And then one day you just explode because your coffee was wrong. And you're like, I just can't take it anymore. I'm cranky. I'm having a bad day. Well, our bodies are the same way. If we've been using and abusing it through all these little things all the time, well, then eventually it's going to communicate through pain. And it's, oh my gosh, I can't handle it. It's unbearable. When did this happen? I didn't even do anything. I was just doing my normal stuff. I just showed up to work, and then today my elbow hurts. So I would say, for one, being mindful of this. And I like to tell my patients that as far as positive self-talk, because it is stressful and emotional having an injury, especially when your job depends on your body. But these things can help to change whatever is causing the pain.
Yes.
And that same person, I would say, that's asking about the brace, going back to that, I think a brace is a useful tool, but it's not always the solution needed. The solution is identifying what actually caused this pain, i.e., daily habits that we're going over today. And daily habits being more than just posture, but again, we talked about hydration, we talked about stress levels, nutrition, things like that can all have an impact on our body's pain and function. A brace is a good tool to help as you're actively pursuing how to fix what's going on. So
I love that.
Yeah.
I guess I could do another class for you guys on, but see how I'm doing this? How am I standing, boss?
A little bit to the left.
Uh-huh.
And you got a nice convenient mirror, right? And don't be afraid to widen your base of support too as you're squatting back, right?
True.
That
like
can get
this.
you, yep, yeah.
That's better than what I was doing, like this.
Yeah. So we're dynamic. You can change your posture. You can lunge to the side a little bit, right? That's okay because I'm sitting back evenly.
So we think exercise,
yeah,
like lunge.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that way you're still getting to the side, but look how even and relaxed I looked.
Yeah.
Versus having to flex to get to the sides there.
Totally. I love that. So I'm going to clean that up because that's going to drive me crazy. I'll have nightmares literally about that. But we are here today to learn more about our body posture. So I'm going to continue this and make it a separate episode on cleaning up bobs. All right. So let's do our blow dry.
Okay.